historically in the 3-minute portion. Here the game is starting now, but Wesley has been just dominant. And Artemiev, he's a newbie to the Speed Chess Championship. This is his first go at it, and he won 2 games, and he really made his mark in the bullet portions where he distanced himself from his competitors. And he was playing Levon Aronian and Alexander Grishuk. And Levon Aronian, not really that well known for his online bullet skills. And Wesley So is just, he's more used to this format. He plays on the server much more frequently. And I think that he's proven that he is not going to be deterred. Has a good head on his shoulders. He's very confident, but he's also very objective. And I think that's what suits him very well in this format.
Yep. Well, we're already seeing a different opening, right? Coming into the 3-minute portion. That I mean, like we saw B3. We've seen some D4, C4 stuff. We've seen E4. So maybe not too surprising, but during the break, we saw, looked like to me, Vlad was thinking about the match. It wasn't like he went straight to the bathroom or the kitchen to grab coffee or water. He looked like to me he was sitting down and thinking about what openings and what changes he wanted to make heading into this next period. So, yeah,
and that's, it actually is what you were just saying aligns with our daily question. And we had some responses about our daily question about, what should be the penalty be essentially for not being on time? Should you be forfeited? And we see that Flopel, Flope 1994 said, arriving on time is part of the responsibility as a chess player. You show respect to your opponent. I don't disagree with that. We have more responses from Scott Stanley saying, I think simply letting their time run is sufficient enough. We discussed that as well. And Isaiah McIntosh says, in major tournaments, there should be a fine imposed and a cutoff default time. Eric, what do you make of those?
Well, I think in major tournaments, there is a fine imposed and cutoff time. So that is that's the status quo. And then the other one, letting their time run is simply enough. I don't know, as Robert pointed out, let's say you have 2 hours for the game and you just have a guy sitting there for an hour and a half waiting for his opponent. It's just not a good look. You do need to set some sort of time limit of how late you can be. It's not good for sponsors. Like at the beginning of games is usually when the sponsors show up, or like a VIP, they make the first move.
Yep. Imagine that, right? Imagine you have the mayor or whatever, some celebrity comes to make the first move and you're just not there.
Yeah.
Super awkward. So I'm with you.
Yeah, because in Canada we got like hockey and baseball. You got the pitch. If one team's not there, it's like what? Like that's not good. So I understand that. So no, you do need to set a limit.
Yeah. And you touched upon this and just changed the subject back to the chess we're seeing here. Artemiev once again is down a lot of time here. He's down over 40 seconds. We're on almost move 20 now. I like White's position because I like the power of this bishop. That is a very potent bishop on a long diagonal. And so that is going well for Artemiev, but his clock management continues to be a problem.
What if King G7, though? While that's a good bishop, is that what he's thinking about? He's like, he knows his position is pretty easy to play. Double rooks on the e-file, put some pressure here. But yeah, no, actually, I'm with you. This is a fairly straightforward position, and there's, to me, no excuse why White is down a minute.
And I want to bring up the analysis board really quickly because knight f6 was just played. The e5 pawn is protected. But White had kind of a threat going on here. If you play king g7, perhaps d4 was a good move because the pawn on e5 is pinned. And if you take with the queen on d4, rook d3 slides there, and the knight on d7 is a goner. So really interesting tactics available in the position, despite it looking, as we get to live position here, it looks like, well, black is the one coming first for the b2 pawn, but e5 is hanging. So both players have different agendas here. And, well, now I'm wondering where that bishop...
Rook e7 and queen e5. Rook e7 check, and then queen e5 picks up that rook on b2.
Oh, that is beautiful. So I'm going to show that. King f7, check, takes, rook e7, king e7. Looks like you have 2 rooks and a knight for a queen. But queen e5 check comes in, winning this rook on b2, and that's too much material for White to get. Right. Wow, what a shot.
And if king g7 right now, bishop g6. If king h8, bishop g6 anyways.
King h8, bishop g6. Yep, rook h5 check. And
that's the line I don't know about, by the way. King h8, bishop g6, rook g8. I don't know what's going on there.
That's a fair Oh, then there's no. Ah, so many options, but I'm not sure what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Some kind of like queen f4 idea, but because you still can't take this bishop really with anything. Doesn't
The end games are good for black here. So Vlad definitely has to find something because his queen side is collapsing
right
very quickly.
Wow, this is a beautiful tactic, though. I'm like pumped to see it. But you're absolutely right that perhaps black is not doing so poorly here. He takes.
Oh,
rook c2.
Rook c2.
He ignores it.
He's got this dark square.
No, I don't believe him. This looks. I like your rook g8 move. This looks bad. Queen h4 is coming. h7 is under attack. Black has
queen
no
h4 is particularly annoying because rook g8, queen h4, rook e6 is immediately coming. Yeah. Queen h4 is a very safe square. I wonder if you play queen d4 right now
to stop me from. There it is.
Yeah. To stop queen h4 because it's so important. Rook
g8.
Rook g8. Yeah.
How to finish this game off? Come just queen f3. Let's just be calm. Everything's protected. We still have an attack brewing on the king side here.
Yeah, the more pieces on the board, this is good for white. The king position is awful. But look at the time. Although it's more even than normal. He's going straight for the win. He's just going to take on h7 after.
So
follow up with rook, and then he's going to just follow up with rook e7 check.
Well,
actually, queen h5, and then rook e7.
Oh, but rook c1. The rook on e1 is under attack.
So wow.
And now you could take on h7 safely because you can't take on h7 anymore with the rook. You don't have another rook to give a check afterwards. So right now you need to find something.
Oh, there's queen f.
Yeah, if the queen moves away, queen f4 check is going to be annoying. So he goes queen f7. This looks queen d6 to h6 or something like that.
Or queen e5, queen g7.
Get here. So how many pawns does white have? 3? How do we evaluate
this is going to be funny.
Okay.
Better for white because there's no more pawns left for black, so only white can win. Good. What is so much going on?
Yeah, we're like looking at mating attacks, and now it's an end game with 3 pawns for a knight. And this should be
after f5. Yeah. Now there's just you can't cross. I assume. Yeah,
there's always rook. Knight takes g. Oh, not knight takes
g6 check.
Right.
Although sometimes that even works, but
here I don't think so. Yeah. Those pawns are getting kind of far.
G6
G6. Oh, rook G3.
Oh, no. Oh, well, you couldn't really prevent it.
Yeah, we were both thinking the same thing there. And unfortunately for...
Wesley's going to go for the win. He's going to use the knight. Knights are tricky. King h6 and knight g5. No.
You might as well, right? Obviously, no losing chances.
Oh!
What?
What? Pre-move!
No!
What was that pre-move? You got 14 seconds.
No!
What was that?
Oh my gosh. He just... what? What was that?
Rook g6? King f5?
Yeah, king f5, king f6 coming.
King f8 looked like a pre-move or something, but that was not a position to pre-move.
How did that happen? Okay, we're going to have to bring up an analysis board and go to what just happened because I'm in shock. All of a sudden, we're talking about how Wesley's going to play for a win. He's simply up a knight for a pawn. And then rook f5, rook f4, and he goes king to f8.
Inexplicable. I don't know, mouse slip or...
What is king f8?
Is it a mouse? No.
Was he expecting rook g4? No, but it doesn't make any sense.
No, that's the thing. It doesn't make sense as a pre-move.
In no context does it make sense. Like rook takes h5 is a free pawn there. And he plays king f8 and loses his rook.
Yeah, because you play king h6. I can't explain. We're going to have to ask him. That doesn't...
he must have been fuming. Oof. All right, let's get back to the live game.
Wow.
Because that one's over. But wow, and that could put you on tilt so quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
Hikaru talked about this yesterday, and you would think, exactly. But Hikaru was talking about it yesterday, and you would think Hikaru was like immune to tilt because he's played so much and he's usually winning all his games. But he said yesterday he was going on tilt. He was down 2 games, and he was losing another game, and he won the game very fortunately because Jan Krzysztof blundered. But Wesley's still leading, and if he can calm himself, keep his composure here, and just take a breath. Just you blundered. You were playing a pretty good game there. You're still in the lead. You're playing good chess, and just calm yourself down. But this is a dangerous situation right now with both sides playing opposite sides, with white trying to attack the king side, black trying to attack the queen side. It's one of those things where if you're not objective, if you don't keep your head on your shoulders and say, okay, black has some concrete threats that I need to be concerned about. It's not just a one-sided affair here. It could be trouble for Wesley.
Yeah, a cool move in these positions is bishop f6. I'm not sure he's going to play it, but bishop f6 is often, yeah, when there's a queen on g2, it looks really nice. Sometimes it really is the best move, and here I think it is as well. But as long as you don't take with the pawn, you're still alive as black.
Right. Because the bishop on e7 is defended, so there's no. I mean, the d6 pawn is now hanging, so that's one of the another ideas. Not only you putting your bishop on an imposing square, if you take on e7, d6 can fall, but this bishop now can go to e6, putting pressure on a2, and well, black is developing very quick play there.
Yeah, we can show like d6 is hanging, right? But
yeah, so let's bring up analysis
super
board.
active.
So rook
No,
takes
I never,
d6.
guys. What are you guys talking about? I don't know what tilt is. Stop singling me out. I am immune to tilt. I've never tilted.
Yeah, I pulled up on the board here. Just these kind of ideas: rook coming to c8 and queen c5 or queen c7, rook c8 coming, and well, there's clear counterplay on the open lines on the queen side. So
knight c6. He went for the pawn, huh?
Oh, he did, yeah. And knight c6 is a nice move. Just saying that your rook is pinned to your queen. My knight might come to d4. And white had to be passive for the time being with his knight on c1 to stop the mate on a2. And if you play knight to b3 as sort of like, let me attack this queen, the problem is in these variations, you're still not really coordinated very well. And I can take on d6 and play rook to d8 as just an example and say your back rank is a problem here. And so...
Yeah, but the time, Robert, I'm concerned the time, and it is still a pawn. You get some activity, but I actually don't see the time is like, let's say white just like takes on d8 and plays bishop d3. I'm just wondering how bad it can get if black even gets the knight to d4 and whatever the follow-up is after.
You're right. It's just a position at that point. So the time situation is bad. And so you can play rook d8, bishop d3. But I like that Wesley's spending some time here because he is up nearly a minute on the clock. So he can afford to spend 20 seconds on this move, 30 seconds on this move, and figure it out. And I mean, ideas that come to mind, as you said, trading and playing bishop d3. Bishop h3 instead of taking was a way to try to get up that bishop. But he goes for your plan here. And I think queen c5 is generally speaking a good idea for black, just taking over the dark squares. And then you could push your a pawn, right?
Yeah, queen c5 or queen b6. They'll play a5, a4, a3.
And that's what black is relying on as compensation. It's just this a pawn, a plays queen b6. So I don't really know what the exact difference was. Probably he didn't want to allow knight b3 with a tempo or something like that. But look at white and black doing the same thing, right? White is coming on the king side for a g6 or h6, black on the queen side with an a4, b3, or a3.
Yeah, I take it back a little bit. I think black's position for being a pawn down is pretty decent. I don't see, with limited material, white, when they get in g6 or h6, probably can lock things down. And even here, the endgame is not always terrible if you were to like trade because you get this square on e5 for your knight.
Yep. And this d4 square for the queen is really juicy because with a3 coming, it's just a clear mating attack. So
I'm not so sure. If you play g6, you take once, play h6. If you play h6, you can play g6 as well because you have queen d4 after queen f6.
Right.
And then the g5 pawn could be weak in some endgames.
Yep, very true. So he plays h6.
He doesn't have to play g6. He could ignore it.
I think a3. Okay, he played g6.
He's going for this queen d4 line. Excuse me.
The knight e2 stopping queen d4. That's smart. But
what do you think? What do you think about queen b8, queen e5? Okay, he's going straight.
Whoa! What?
All right, he's just going to play king f8. Okay. All right. He's not concerned. He's like, if you win this h7 pawn, your queen is offside.
Oh, but knight f4 here. Isn't there just a very clear follow-up for white? Knight f4.
Knight f4.
And I'm 30. Knight takes g6 check and h7 h8.
Knight takes g6 check is a.
That's so nasty.
That's an issue.
Because if you move your king and mate it, you take. Here comes h7 h8.
That's an issue. Well, that's everything. There you go. There you go.
That is filthy. So knight g6 still works, right?
Yeah.
Oh God.
So he could have played queen d4 and.
Hey, there's a pre-move that worked. h7.
And h8? Well, there's a check. Yeah, h7.
Yeah. All right.
That was